ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Wednesday, June 4th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Coming up today on the program, we're going to be speaking with Brianna Ellis. She's the Assistant Director of Women's Basketball Operations at Marshall University. We've got camp coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So Brianna's stopping by just a few minutes from now. We're going to talk a little bit about those camps and opportunities for either your youngster or, of course, there's going to be that high school shootout. Lots of opportunities for basketball in the area. I think this is also one of those good recruiting tools. Not necessarily you're just going to identify a player right away and offer them on the spot, but this is an opportunity, of course, to build some of those relationships, identify some players you might want to keep an eye on, looking out for some local talent, and, of course, you don't limit yourself just to players and teams that are in the immediate area. You know, this is open to everyone. So we'll talk to Brianna in just a few minutes about that, but until then, I want to get that text line open, so we'll do that throughout the show. Great opportunity for you to ask anything basketball, as well as, of course, what's happening recruiting for me. I'll try to get Brianna to tell us just a little bit. She probably can't go into too many details, but I'll see if she can maybe give us kind of a general appraisal of how things are going for basketball right now. So how's everyone doing? I hope you're all set. We've got a lot of activity coming up tonight. We got the Women's College World Series coming up, Game 1 tonight at 8 o'clock. Texas Tech versus Texas, best of 3 series there. The baseball side of things tonight for the Pirates, trying to bounce back from a 3-0 loss against the Astros. We've got Game 2 of that series tonight. We go on the air at 6:15. And we'll do that right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And then the Yankees got the better of the Guardians yesterday, 3-2. Game 2 of that series coming up tonight, 7:05. And then earlier today, after beating the Brewers yesterday, 4-2, the Reds come back and lay an egg. Brewers with the win there, 9-1. So not a good day for those of you who are Reds fans. This one was not a fun one to look at. Period. 9-1 victory in favor of the Brewers. Speaking of baseball, we're just a day away. We've got the season opener for the Tri-State Coldcats. We've got 3 games in Tennessee. Home opener for the Coldcats is going to be next Monday night, 7 o'clock at Jack Cook Field. Now, the easy way to follow those games is head over to the Tri-State Coldcats website. The video stream is going to be available for both home and away for the Coldcats. Of course, we'll have the radio side for all the home games. We'll do that here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And then, of course, if you're like me, you're getting set for the NBA and the NHL Finals. Stanley Cup, Game 1 tonight, 8 o'clock, going to be Florida versus Edmonton. I'm interested to see how many people actually tune in for this. The ratings have kind of been down for the NHL, and part of that's due because it's been very Canadian heavy. And that's not to say that we don't like Canadians. It's just teams of interest, not as much in the NHL. Florida might draw some eyeballs. Also, the Eastern and Western Conference Finals just were not competitive. So there wasn't much to see there. And then, of course, we have got Indiana at Oklahoma City. That is coming up on Thursday. That is going to tip off at 8:30 now. That game, along with the Stanley Cup Game 1 tonight against Edmonton, Florida and Edmonton, that's going to be over on our sister station, Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. So we are exactly a few hours away from puck drop, and then we're about a little more than 24 hours away as of this show from tip-off. It should be a fun next, I'm going to say basketball goes further than hockey. Edmonton's good. Florida, I don't know. I hope we get a competitive series, but I'm going to say that Indiana, Oklahoma City, that should – well, I take that back. I don't know. I'm not rooting for Indiana, and hopefully Oklahoma City will take care of business. But if I'm the NBA, I'm hoping this goes 7. If I'm the NHL, I'm hoping this thing goes 7. And just as a sports fan in general, I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm hoping both go 7. Of course, the NHL may be the one that I'm sure that might not go 7. I just think that Florida's too good right now, even though Edmonton's strong. They were strong last year as well. And then, of course, in the NBA, I don't think anyone really thought Indiana and Oklahoma City would be here. And on top of that, people are still scratching their heads over Tom Thibodeau being fired after 5 seasons. The Knicks having their best season and still not good enough for ownership and management. Best season. Got to the conference final. And that's a lot of progress. And I take up the issue because here's a team that's showing progress. So how can you make the argument that the team is plateaued? You get to the conference finals this year. Before that, you were one series away from getting to the conference finals. I mean, you were right there. You could have gone to the conference finals. So, you're eliminated in the conference finals by a good Indiana Pacers team. So that's still one that's leaving me curious. What are they thinking in New York? What are they thinking at Madison Square Garden? So we've got coming up in the next few minutes, as we mentioned, top of the show, Brianna Ellis is going to join us. We're going to talk to her about upcoming camps for Marshall women's basketball. Later on, we're going to get your text in, 304-396-TALK. 304-396-8255. We had an interesting discussion, I think, yesterday about where Marshall ranked in the ESPN Power Index. Marshall, the 7th best team in the Sun Belt, 94th out of 136. I saw Pete Futak's breakdown today, College Football News. He does a good job. His breakdown had some nice things to say about Marshall, but the win-loss total maybe not on the positive side for the Thundering Herd. A lot of questions in the air there, so we can touch on that if you like. But again, it's fair to question it now. Still too early. We don't know what's going to happen, but I think this is a season where there's going to be a lot of questions that need to be answered as far as the Henderson Center, as far as the football team. As I'm reading the text that came in, Texter just said, before we hit the break, Texter said that, hey, I voted for the new design of the cam. Has it been announced? The black, especially at the Joan, makes things look dingy. Green without devil chicken nugget Marco all the way. Sailor Marco is the best with block M like Dan Tony had a few years ago. Appreciate that. I was reading that as it was coming in, so a transition. It's like a complete stop from football to basketball. I like that. That's a good place to stop because when we come back from break, we're going to talk to Brianna Ellis. She's the assistant director of women's basketball at Marshall University. We've got camps coming up. Later on, we will get your text in. Can you come up with a better name than Devil Chicken Nugget Marco? I think that wins today. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
What a long, strange trip it's been. The Spirit of the Dead rolls into Huntington this Friday at Mount West 9th Street Live. Presented by Michelob Ultra and White Claw. This Friday, June 6th, it's Cardinal Roofing Night, and it's 9th Street is Dead with John Ingram's Dead Center celebrating the music of the Grateful Dead on the Marshall OBGYN stage. Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Go Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Food and drinks in the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, Summit Beer Station, and more. Join us next Friday, June 13th for Massing. And don't miss the local Honey's 9th Street Live debut on June 20th. The Thundering Herd Rally is coming up Friday, August 15th. 9th Street Live, driven by University Ford and built by Cardinal Roofing. Happening every Friday night through Labor Day on 9th Street between 3rd and 4th Avenues in downtown Huntington. Proudly sponsored by Delta Hotels, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, the Marshall Health Arena, and Kinder Communications. Don't miss this Friday. 9th Street is dead, and only at Mount West 9th Street Live.
Truck accident? Tom Boggs is here for you in Huntington, and he's brought the expertise of Warner Law Offices with him.
Call 345-6789.
I'm talking with Chris from Christopher's Eats, and Chris, the new menu looks tasty.
Hey, thanks a lot. So we're now featuring some fully composed bowls, some new coal-fired flatbreads, and much more.
My wife loves the falafel bowl, and I cannot get enough of the pork belly flatbread.
Yeah, we're proud of that one. It's all fresh, full of flavor, and we love to try to support our area farmers as much as possible with some local produce and West Virginia beef.
So if it's been a minute since you've been in, now's the time to get to Christopher's Eats, Route 60 Huntington, or order online at christopherseats.com.
Here's another Kinder Communications Community Chatter. The Huntington Region Antique Automobile Club of America holding its 24th annual Cerrito Antique Auto Show. This is going to be June 14th at the Cerrito Plaza. Registrations from 9 to noon. The fee is $10.
This Kinder Communications Community Chatter brought to you by Black Sheep Harley-Davidson. Freedom, power, and the open road are calling. Legends are built. Your dream starts here at Black Sheep Harley-Davidson. 403 4th Avenue, Huntington. Online at blacksheephd.com.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Our text line continues to be open, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We will get back to your text in just a few minutes. I gotta look away from the text line just for a few minutes. I don't want to get distracted like I did a few minutes ago because we've got a special guest with us now. I want to welcome to the program the Assistant Director of Women's Basketball Operations, Marshall University. Bree Ellis is with us on the program, and I got to be really good because Bree, she's broadcast trained, so I got to be on my best behavior. How you doing, Bree?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I got to be careful. I want to make sure that I leave a good impression with you. You're broadcast trained, so if I mess up, I'm going to hear about it.
Well, so far so good.
Did you enjoy that part of your job when before you came to Marshall? Was that something that you thought maybe you could expand upon? You liked really doing that?
Oh my goodness, it was actually what I went to school for. It was definitely my passion. I was a broadcast journalism major. So post-grad, I worked in athletics development in the Bears Fund back at Missouri State. And I was fortunate enough to do color for the Bears and the Lady Bears basketball through ESPN Plus, and I absolutely loved it. So to be back on the radio feels like I'm back in my natural habitat.
I like it. So you can just come in and fill in anytime you want to. I'm surprised you haven't hopped on yet. I know the student radio station, a place I cut my teeth at as well. They do the women's games on the radio side. I'm surprised you haven't just told those kids move over. I'm coming in.
Well, it's funny that you say that because Blessing King actually has a passion for journalism and broadcast, and she helps out with the campus radio station as well, doing soccer and softball and all the other sports when she's not in practice or we're on the road. So look out for Blessing King on a local station near you soon because she kills it, and she has a great personality and a great passion for broadcast as well. So look out for Blessing King on the sideline and, on the field doing reporting as well.
She interned with us, not me directly, but she interned with us over at Kinder Communications.
Sure. She is just a firecracker, and she has a passion for broadcast and a heck of an athlete, as you guys can see. So we're super, super blessed to have Blessing, no pun intended, but she's a great kid, and her future is very, very bright, both on the court and in the studio.
I agree with that. Yeah, she was fantastic. I didn't get to work with her as much, but she was doing other things, but she was fantastic. So we definitely have that in common. We think the world of Blessing. And of course, we're bringing in new players. We're getting close to that point now where it's time to start moving people in. And I know that's got to be an exciting time for you, not only going through it yourself years ago as a player, but now, help shepherding the new kids in.
For sure. We are super blessed. We've got 6 newcomers. So a lot like last season in our first year with a lot of new faces. So we've got transfers, we've got true freshmen, we've got sophomores, juniors, we've got seniors. So we've got a wide variety of new faces coming from all different backgrounds. So we're super, super excited. And yeah, move-in week is this week. So we've got kids moving in starting tomorrow all the way through Sunday. So we are going to be busy moving these kiddos into their places and making Marshall finally home. So we're super, super excited to get the kids back on campus. We've got an international kid coming from New Zealand. So we're super, super excited. Like I said, all different backgrounds, all different age groups. Olivia Olson, one of our freshmen, is coming from Florida. So we're super, super excited. We're going to play Bob the Builder for the next couple of days, getting these kids moved in and getting all comfortable here on campus.
What's orientation like for you as you guide these kids? You know, is there something that you try to tell them or show them that may not get in the normal orientation trying to become a student at Marshall?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously the freshmen are required to attend orientation. Cassie Ingram was our lone freshman last year, so she had to do it by herself. Leosha Marigny, she had to do a junior college orientation. So, but Cass was our lone freshman last year, so she had to do a lot of the summer stuff by herself. So I'm glad that Z and Olivia have each other to kind of go through the process. But to your point, we're just super excited for them to get here. And our current players, Meredith Mayer, Peyton, Tim, all of those kids who have been here and are experienced, they're here to help that process as well. So we've got veterans on the team who are not just, vets on the team, but, local kids who know West Virginia, who know Huntington. So they're really just an extension of us, especially during the summertime when all of these new kids are coming in and trying to find their way. So obviously they come to the coaches for all of the, the financial aid stuff, the housing stuff, but all the things, where are the cool spots to get food and hang out and go to the pool, they really rely on their teammates for that type of stuff. All of our newcomers are in summer classes, so we kind of build our schedule around that. The freshmen are in some in-seat classes, so with practices and workouts and things, we just try to work around their schedule so they can be present for the workouts and things like that. But our returners, they do a great job with being an extension of us during the summer. And, we've got camps coming up and everything. So they do a good job of showing the newbies the ropes as well.
Before we talk about those camps, I want to ask you this. This is year 2, but year 2 really maybe is the first full year 1. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Last year was a whirlwind for us, and it was new everything. Our saying last year was all in, and we were all in from the beginning. But there was so much turnover, with us obviously, and our attention last year was great. So we got to keep a lot of kids who, won that championship with Coach Kim Caldwell. So we were very, very fortunate, but a lot of things did change for us as a staff last year, and the kids adapted. I think our staff adapted. Our fans were great, and our administrators were there to back us up. So we are definitely looking forward to this year. We've got the first year under our belts, and we went on that awesome run last year. So we're looking forward to just hitting the ground running and laying the foundation and keeping it going this year.
I'm glad you mentioned that run in the tournament, and it'll be the last thing I mentioned before we go into the camps. It's just, I think that at one point you were thinking, okay, this is going to take some time, and then you see that run in the tournament and you go, okay, when this thing clicks, it looks really good, and that was a gauntlet. And I don't know if people were expecting any team to survive that long, and Marshall did it. So that right there, I think, is the statement that, okay, once this thing is clicking, off we go, and it looks really good.
Sure. Absolutely. It was fun. It was fun for us as a staff to see those kids just persevere. Obviously, Julie's system that she's implemented is night and day what, the kids were used to with Kim Caldwell and even prior to with Coach Kemper. So Julie's zone is very peculiar, and there is a lot of, tactic with it. Julie is very methodical within our offenses and our defenses. So just to see the kids buy in, I know there were definitely times where our fans were frustrated, and we were for sure frustrated with the result. I mean, losing 10 games by, a margin of 5 or 10 points or less. So we just knew that it was there, and we knew at some point in the season we were going to get it. And man, what a time to finally, kind of mesh together. And I mean, the light bulbs just kind of went off. But I applaud the kids. I applaud our staffs and our fan base for just staying with us, and we were all in all year. So we're just super excited. We're super, super excited. We know what we're capable of, and for the girls to be as resilient as they were in the Sun Belt tournament, it just gave them all the confidence that they needed to end the season and for sure going into the summer. So I'm super, super proud of last season, and it's only going to carry over into the summer and, into preseason. And finally, when season starts, we've got a good brand of basketball, and I'm super, super excited to showcase it again.
Bree Ellis is with us, Assistant Director of Women's Basketball Operations, Marshall University. We got camps coming up. Let's start with the kids' camp. That's coming up on June 18th through the 20th. Now it's for ages 5 to 14, $150. So if I have a youngster in that age group and I want to bring them to camp, what do I need to know? Do they need to be of a certain skill level? What are you looking to do with them, and what kind of experience will those kids have?
Sure. Kids camp, we have been raving about kids camp. Kids camp it's just that. It is a bunch of fun. Now there are going to be kids who are competitive, we love that about the kiddos, but kids camp is designed to just be fun. It's designed for our kids to be, little kids again and really just get to have fun with the youngsters. So, we just, we do the basics, ball handling, shooting, form, all that type of stuff. But kids camp is just about fun. It's about the girls getting able to instruct the little ones because, it's always us coaching them, but them stepping outside of, all the pressures of our practices and games and things like that, and just getting to mentor the young ladies in the Huntington and tri-state communities. So kids camp is just about fun. As coaches, we get to let our hair down a little bit and just, be kids again. So we get to have games, and we get to, play one-on-one and all the things, that these young ladies that, suit up now got to do when they were between the ages of 5 and whatever, So we just look forward to having a lot of fun with the kids. We want to create an environment for families. So we encourage, parents and grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever are, guardians to stay and watch and just have fun with the kids. So that's what we really look forward to with kids camp.
It's the 18th, 19th, and 20th. What are some of the things that, maybe parents should know? You can drop your kid off. Are they expected to be there? Someone to be a guardian? How long is each day? What are some of the incidentals maybe that people might need to know?
So we really, Mikasa Robinson, one of the assistants, she's really taken lead on camp, which has been fantastic for us. We will be there at check-in, and I believe that check-in starts at 8:30 or 9 a.m. in the morning, and we will have a kiosk set up. The girls will check in. We'll get them their camp shirts, and then we just put music on in the Cam Henderson, and we've got over 150 basketballs, and we just let them play for the first, 30 to 45 minutes of check-in. And then after that, parents are welcome to stay, or parents are welcome, to leave and go about their day until it's time for pickup. But, so it's in the mornings. We just start with, warm-ups. We go through the warm-ups that our girls usually go through for practice. So we do some just standard, stretching and all the things. Our strength and conditioning coach will be present. Our athletic trainer will be present, obviously, just to make sure that us and the kids stay safe. So we really want the first hour to simulate how our girls get ready for practices and games. So that's a really, really fun part where our girls get to take lead and take charge in the warm-ups. And then after that, we'll go into, very, very controlled drills and things like that. But like I said before, lots and lots of fun, lots of instruction, lots of getting to know the other campers and the girls. So that's what we really look forward to as far as kids camp.
My guest is Bree Ellis, Assistant Director of Women's Basketball Operations at Marshall University. So now I know it's 5 to 14, but any scholarship's going to be maybe offered. Is there a 5-year-old that catches your eye? You're gonna try to sign her right away?
You never know. You just never know. There's some great talent around the tri-state area, and they may just have a wild hair to sign up for kids camp. So, like I said, all of the coaching staff will be there, including Coach Foltz. She really takes pride in leading kids camp and being present for all of the camps, for all of the kiddos, no matter what age. So she just might see somebody that, is, a future prospect in, 2030 or what have you. So we'll just have to keep our eyes open.
You never know. I mean, it's like that Mass Mutual spot. Have you seen that one with like the little kid playing with the adults in hockey? It might be like that, where like 5-year-old talent. Hey, can you go now? Can you accelerate your education? Can you get eligible now?
For sure.
I like it.
For sure, absolutely.
I like it.
Marshall's made history before. We could make history with the youngest collegiate athlete. So you never know what could happen.
I like it. Bree Ellis is with us. So the kids camp is 18th through the 20th. Now, a couple of days before that, you get the high school shootout. That's June 16th and 17th. And now, if teams want to participate, it's $350 for both days. If you can't do both days, you just want to do one day, it's $250. What's the format of the high school shootout, and what do you try to bring to that?
Sure. So just like I had made mention, it's all about fun. Camp should be fun. The game of basketball should be fun, and any sport that you partake in should be fun. But obviously, with the age difference and the structure of the camp and being with your team, obviously we use this more so to recruit and evaluate talent. But a lot of the same things, lots of 5-on-5. We do go out and hire local refs. So it is more so watching live play. So all of the coaches are present again for that, but it's more so of just a big tournament, almost like a day tournament. We've got kids that will have different kids on different courts playing different teams all day long. So like I said, we want to have fun. We want them to have fun. We want them to get to know other teammates. We want them to get to, know the staff and our players and things like that. But we do want to see if there are any kids, out in the tri-state area and, of course, here locally in Huntington that have potential to maybe be, a part of the Thundering Herd one day. So Coach Foltz and our staff, they do a great job of recruiting this area first. So it's just another opportunity for us to get eyes on kids who are right here in our backyard, get them in the cam and see what they're made of. So a lot more competitive nature to team camp and the high school shootouts. So we get to use it as a recruiting piece and just see what talent that we have right here that we get to recruit. So we look forward to that as a staff because, like I had made mention, Coach Folks and our staff, we do a great job of, trying to see who we have locally first and then extend out to, other states and other areas.
And to be quite blunt, we know that Coach Folks is well known for her camp, so this is really a great opportunity, a little closer to home for those that maybe have made that trip years and years to go to Coach's camp. Now they don't have to travel as far. Now some of those other kids have to travel further, but
sure,
still, it's same camp, just different location, pretty much.
Absolutely. We joke about it all the time. Hannah, who has taken over at Transylvania, is now doing a stellar job, with that program. And she kind of operates the same way that Julie did at Transy. So she jokes that all the kids are going to stay loyal and stay in Lexington and go to Transy camps, and we won't be able to get them here because Hannah's taken over and done a great job, continuing the excellence at Transy. But yeah, we get a lot of kids from the tri-state area, Lexington kids, a lot of Kentucky kids and things like that. So like you had made mention, Julie has, made a great name for herself, not only as a coach, a recruiter, but yeah, her camps at Transy were the cat's meow to be at and to be a part of. So she has definitely continued that here, and we're super, super excited. She is well known for the structure of her camp and just fundamentally getting kids better and learning the zone, which is awesome. She gives kids insight on reactions and reads and things like that we implement with our kids when teaching them the zone. So she's got great things to teach. Julie is a great teacher of the game, and kids really are in store for a treat when they come to our camp.
My guest, the Assistant Director of Women's Basketball Operations, Bree Ellis. We've got camps coming up the 18th through the 20th for the kids' camp, 16th and 17th for the high school shootout. For more information, where do you want people to go?
Yes, so our camp links and our registration pages are posted all on the Herd Zone, on our athletic website, all of our social medias on X and Instagram and Facebook. So all of our links are downloadable and reachable at all of those sites. If you want to go to the Herd Zone, if you follow us on social medias, there are definitely links for registration for both camps. And Mikasa Robinson, who one of our assistants who has taken point on being the camp coordinator this season and last, all of her contact information is on there, as well as mine and our GA Lake and Ball. Social media is a great way to sign up, or you can go to our website, the Herd Zone, under Women's Basketball.
My guest, Bree Ellis, Assistant Director, Women's Basketball Operations, Marshall University. Check out all those socials. Heavy question here. Speaking of socials, all right. Do you pick 1, 2, 3, or 4 for the court refresh, and why'd you pick 4?
Oh goodness. I personally loved logo number 3. I loved the green. Kelly green is never a color that has been in my closet, but now it has grown on me, and the more green, the better. My vote is for court number 3. But all in all of them are awesome. Big shout out to everyone, our external team and our creative who had a part in designing all 4 of the courts. All of them look very sleek. All of them are a great representation of Marshall basketball. So I really don't think you can lose. But if I had to say, I would pick number 3.
Okay, that's a fair compromise. But let me offer you an alternative to take back. Okay, are you ready? I'm
ready.
I want 4 because I don't want 3 with that Marco head. I want the refresh of the Marco head with the sailor hat. That's the one I want.
Sure,
that's my guy.
That is very fair. That is very fair. I am a big fan of Sailor Marco.
So you can take that back to the next meeting, and because it sounds like you have a lot of sway in these meetings, so maybe you can make that happen. And just tell them also it'll get me to shut up about it.
Well, I will definitely keep that in my back pocket, and the next time I see my external team and all of our sports ADs, I'll put in a good word for number 4.
Okay, or just or number 5 with the Sailor Marco. That would be the better option.
Go. Or you can't go wrong with Sailor Marco.
No, absolutely. See, Bree, you're welcome back anytime. You can come back. You can co-host the show if you like. We'll anytime you want to do other sports, come on over. We'll do it.
Absolutely. You know where to catch me.
Bree, thanks for doing this today. Good luck with camps, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, and go Herd.
That's Brianna Ellis, Assistant Director of Women's Basketball Operations, Marshall University. Kids Camp coming up June 18th through the 20th. High School Shootout June 16th and 17th. Head over to herdzone.com for more details. We have got more show coming up on this edition of The Drive. Stay tuned, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Do you have $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 in debt? Then listen to this. You may not be required to pay it all back.
I was drowning in debt.
I had over $36,000 in debt.
If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief can help significantly reduce what you owe. In fact, debt relief payments can be 50% less than your monthly credit card payments. That's right, half as much as you're paying now.
National Debt Relief reduced my debt by over $27,000.
With National Debt Relief, you have a powerful team that knows how to talk to your creditors.
National Debt Relief, they got me out of debt.
More than 550,000 Americans have used National Debt Relief to reduce their debt. Call 800-885-5555 to see if you qualify to settle your debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's 800-885-5555. 800-885-5555.
Other than $1 million, what does Dad want this Father's Day? A car wash from Thoroughbred Express that'll make him feel like $1 million. And now through Father's Day, you can purchase a $50 gift card from Thoroughbred Express for just $35. That's right, a $50 gift card for just $35. Much less than $1 million, and he'll love it, and his car will too. Join the winner's circle at Thoroughbred Express and get started at thoroughbredexpress.com. Calling all steak lovers. It's time to fire up the flavor at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Introducing the Grill Master Weekend Special. Choose a juicy New York strip or a tender ribeye, cooked just the way you like it, and served with 2 signature sides, all for just $29.99. Big taste, big value, big flavor. But only on the weekends at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Savor the grill and celebrate the weekend like a true champion with the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe on the corner of Fun and 3rd Avenue in downtown Huntington.
This time of year can be chaotic. Ashland Credit Union is here to help you keep up with new and used auto loan rates as low as 4.99% APR.
Starting route.
We'll help you find a vehicle that works as hard as you do. Visit our Ashland, Canonsburg, or Russell locations, or visit online at ashlandcu.org.
Arrived.
Wait, did we mention rates as low as 4.99% APR? Okay, good. APR equals annual percentage rate. Not all will qualify for lowest rate. Call 800-245-8112 to learn more.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
Sup?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Our text line this hour, it's brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. We do that at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is going to be a little bit more of a shorter segment. We had a great time talking to Bree Ellis, Assistant Director of Women's Basketball Operations. She was fantastic. Hopefully we can get her come back soon and talk about women's basketball. And you know, she sounded like she's game for anything, and as you could tell, she had that broadcasting background. So even better. I like it when the guests are broadcast trained. I just like it. You know, it's like, for example, when we bring Spencer Atkins on from Channel 13. He's the only sportscaster-ready weatherman, so he's always fantastic to talk to. We need to get him back on soon, so we'll try to work that out with our schedule. But in the meanwhile, we'll get those texts in now, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter says, Paul, I also voted for 3, but I like your idea of option 5 for the court. Appreciate the text. Hey, I'm all for the Kelly Green. I think Kelly Green's making a comeback. Kelly Green is cool again. It stands out. It's unique. It pops. And I would love to see the Cam Henderson Center get a true refresh, makeover, you know, however you can to give it a facelift. Because unless you do an expensive overhaul of the arena, yeah, I would like to just see it freshened up as much as you possibly can. Maybe you needed to bring in, you know, a fresh coat of paint. And I'm not talking just painting some stairs as well. You know, maybe you change out the seats. You bring in some new seats. You know, as I said, you know, how much of an overhaul can you do right now? You know, those are probably going to be decisions for the new athletic director when that person is announced. And I'm sure there are other priorities as well. We've got the work on the Shuey building for football, try to bring in some more NIL revenue. And I know they're going to be doing the same with the Henderson Center, you know, trying to bring in more revenue opportunities so NIL can be at least properly funded and have at least some of that resource available. Coach Jackson's team looks like it's shaping up to be an exciting one. I think a lot of people can agree with this statement. You know, from what we've seen, just from the little information that we've been given, it looks like Marshall's put together what might be a really sound and competitive basketball team again. Football, we're not that far away, so we're going to find out soon what the first year looks like. And again, if you were with us yesterday, we talked about those power rankings. The power rankings, of course, from ESPN mean absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. It's going to be what happens on the football field, obviously, but the power rankings are a model, an indicator, and Marshall's 7th best in the Sun Belt. And do you think Marshall is the 7th best team in the Sun Belt right now, or is that an unfair assessment? Too soon to even gauge what Marshall is going to be. I hope that Marshall escapes the non-conference side of things. At worst, 3-1. 2-2, I'm going to have some issue with, because I think all those games are beatable on that schedule. 3-1, that makes more sense to me, excluding Georgia, obviously. Georgia is going to be a challenge, but Marshall has gone in recent years and knocked off a team or two. So I'm hoping that Marshall gives Georgia everything. You never know. First game, Marshall could come out with a win and completely wreck the national title picture for Georgia. At the same time, have a nice little feather in the Herd's sailor cap. Let's take our final break. We come back with more of your text. And again, that number 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 in AM 930.
Hey, it's Big John here. You looking for a smile transformation? 36 years of experience. Who has that? Thompson Orthodontics does, and they're going to offer personal orthodontic care, traditional braces. How about a flexible payment arrangement just for you? And they'll bill all insurance and West Virginia Medicaid. Experience the friendly, fun atmosphere and meet the amazing staff. My daughter Ruby had to have braces. That's where we went. She has a perfect smile, and I'm telling you, it's just a phone call away. Visit Thompson Orthodontics online at yoursmile.com. smilingfaces.com today. Tell them Big John sent you.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou, a term provider, 800-345-2789. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-345-2789. That's 800-345-2789 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-345-2789.
Now at Menards, get everything you need for your garden project. Schultz Plant Food is specially formulated to provide brighter, fuller, and healthier blooming for your flowers. It's easy to use, requires no mixing, and contains micronutrients that encourage rapid blooming while providing rich color and strong root development. Visit our garden center today. And don't forget to check out our flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
It's Marty's Summer Days at Go-Mart. So hit the road and rack up the rewards. Stock up on snacks, drinks, and all the road trip essentials. And earn bonus reward points and tokens on specially marked items. Collect all 7 tokens and score an additional 5,000 bonus points. So what are you waiting for? Roll down the windows, crank up the tunes, and let the good times and points roll. Check out the app for details or cruise over to GoMart.com.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The Forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we were separated. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time. And had no idea how to find each other. My husband kept the kids tried occupied. Calling our son, but there was no reception. Everything was down. I felt like breaking down and crying, but I had to try and stay calm. The whole experience was the most frightening 10 hours of my life. It was kind of like the nightmare every mother hopes will never happen to her. I remember the moment that I realized he was out there all alone. If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm don't ignore this message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. A public service announcement brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Final segment for today's edition of The Drive. Our text line still open, 304-396-TALK, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. You can also find me on X at Paul Swann. Some good news today for track and field. Marshall Athletics should be pretty happy with this one. Ethan Bowens from Herd Track and Field. He's named the 2025 Sun Belt Overall Male Postgraduate Award winner. And that means a lot to him because this means that he is going to receive a lot of support. This is a scholarship committee that makes this decision. And so he's going to be able to receive a little bit more support in continuing his education. He was awarded the Best Undergraduate Student Science Day last fall at Marshall University. He's got a fellowship through NASA's West Virginia Space Grant Consortium. And he's somebody that definitely embodies what student athlete is all about. So congratulations to him on that honor. We don't talk enough about sometimes the academic progress of the student athletes, because at the end of the day, that's something I still believe in, student athlete. And I know name, image, and likeness has taken over the landscape, and I know that student athletes transfer in and out almost at a whim. I know that's exaggerating a little bit, but it does feel that way sometimes, that players hop from team to team to team. And sometimes, maybe I'm old-fashioned. I don't know. I'm not that old, but I really believe that one way that you win a recruiting battle is your academics, and how the academics can transform, if you put the work in, a student's life. The advantages you get, what the Marshall degree will mean. You have to prove, hey, here's the value of going to Marshall. Here's what we offer academically. Here's how that will benefit you. Here's why we think this is a great choice. And you mix that in with, by the way, here's the experience you will have as a student athlete. And for a lot of people, that's the sell right there. I want to go to Marshall. I want to take advantage of this program. I'm going to learn and excel here, and I'm going to get a chance to play and compete in athletics. It's a win-win. Not everyone thinks that way. Maybe I'm misguided in that assertion, but it's good to see stories like that. So that's something we should highlight a little bit more. So I will remember I said that. It's on me, right? As one of the few media outlets talking about Marshall athletics, it's on me, isn't it? I've got to do the job. I've got to do the work, don't I? That's fine. I'll take that job seriously. Texter says, and I would need to look at it critically. Texter asks, Paul, do you think Chris Massey is a Hall of Fame candidate? He only had one missed snap out of 703 attempts. That's an interesting question here, and I'm not going to lie to you. It's days like this I miss. I miss having a guy like, say, Woody Woodrum here, because he loved this kind of stuff as a historian, and so I mentioned his name only because that would have been a guy that would have taken that question and ran with it, but. Never missed a snap during his college career, right? And he was selected by St. Louis, so you got that going for you as well. And you're a 4-year guy. You also, don't forget, he had some tackles, didn't he, in coverage? Didn't he have some tackles as well? I didn't think he would get some serious consideration. The long snapper may be a position that doesn't get enough respect, but if that position fails, you know it instantly. That's a position where you don't appreciate how good a player is at that position until they mess up. So, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, yeah, I would think so. And again, if I was on the committee making these selections, I would have to see, the full body of work, and a critical eye. This is just shooting right now from the cuff. But I would say yes, I would not turn that one down. I would support that submission as a Hall of Fame candidate, absolutely. And that's a positive note to end on. Have a great night, everyone. I will talk to you all tomorrow.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.